Hello and welcome back to another Mandela Effect video. In this one, we're going to be diving into 4 New York Mandela Effects. Over the past week, I have gained over 1,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much for subscribing, for liking the videos, for sharing the videos. I really appreciate it. Let's keep that support going. Just so you all understand, locating new and exciting Mandela Effects doesn't happen every day. So I figured let's look back and focus on a themed topic. So in today's video, we're checking out 4 New York Mandela Effects. That's right, we're talking about the Big Apple, the city that never sleeps. Just to clarify, if you haven't caught on yet, these aren't new, but for a huge amount of people that have never heard about them, it's going to be new to them. So that's what this video is for. We're going to go through some of the classics. Here is my Mandela Effect definition. Pause now if you need a recap. So be sure to read that if you haven't yet. Like, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments below. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1. What is the final word of this location in New York? Grand Central blank. Is it Grand Central Station or is it Grand Central Terminal? I'll give you a minute to think about it. Grand Central is the 3rd busiest train station in North America and is located in Midtown Manhattan. For me, it has always been Grand Central Station. What about you? Even when you Google Grand Central, the autofill feature offers up the word station. When you click it, it brings this up. Weird, huh? I can only think of 3 reasons this could be. Number 1 is that station is a colloquial term used by New Yorkers and Americans all over, even though it's actually called terminal. Now that's certainly a possibility, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. The second reason I think it could be is perhaps it used to be called Grand Central Station, but it got changed to Grand Central Terminal, and a lot of people didn't notice. Well, upon doing my research, I discovered that it did indeed used to be called Station, back before it was built into what it is today. And it was called this from 1900 to 1910. That's when it was called Grand Central Station. Grand Central Terminal opened in 1913 in its place and has been called that ever since. There has been no name change in over 100 years. The third option is that this is a Mandela effect, and it did indeed used to be called Grand Central Station, and now it's called Grand Central Terminal. So what do you think? Has it always been Grand Central Terminal for you, or does Grand Central Station sound better? I can't wait to hear your thoughts below. Number 2. For our next New York Mandela effect, where is the Statue of Liberty located? Is it Liberty Island, or is it Ellis Island? Think carefully. The Statue of Liberty National Monument is located in New York Harbor, although, ironically enough, it resides in New Jersey's waters. As it is now, the Statue of Liberty sits upon a pedestal on Liberty Island. That's right, Liberty Island, not Ellis Island. For some of you, this is a no-duh moment. For others, it's confusing and it feels wrong. That's why this is such an interesting Mandela effect. Plenty of people seem to remember the Statue of Liberty being located on Ellis Island, not Liberty Island. Strangely enough, pictures as well as movie footage both exist that seemingly contradict each other in relation to where the Statue of Liberty resides. Take a look. Another interesting piece of residue you can find is this 1986 Statue of Liberty coin, inscribed with Ellis Island on it. Is this just a mistake? One of the strangest things to me is how so many people online don't actually remember Liberty Island at all. I'm no expert here, so I'm not going to jump into this fight, but I'd love to hear all of your experiences and thoughts. What do you think? Is the Statue of Liberty right where it belongs, or does it feel wrong? Should it be on Ellis Island? Let me know in the comments below. Moving right along with this video, I'd like to get back to the Statue of Liberty in just a bit, but up next I want to tackle one of my personal favorite Mandela effects, and that is number 3, the Black Tom explosion. I consider myself a massive history buff who's addicted to documentaries and historical accounts of previous events and wars. I can't get enough of this stuff. So the most troubling Mandela effect to me is what is considered the first terrorist attack in America. No, it wasn't Pearl Harbor. No, it wasn't 9/11. It was a German attack on American soil all the way back in 1916. Sound familiar? It doesn't to me. The setting is July 30th, 1916 in Jersey City, New Jersey, on Black Tom Island. Black Tom Island was a major ammunition and small arms depot providing arms to Allies during World War I. 2 German agents working there posing as guards set off small fires all over the island. eventually setting off millions of pounds of explosives. This is called the Black Tom explosion. Now, the strange part about this Mandela effect is because it is so big and so important, it causes massive ramifications throughout time. So it not only changes this one point in history, but it changes multiple things, and we're going to get into that as we go on. The first of which is now we're told that this is the turning point as to why the US joined World War I. But I was always told it was because of the sinking of the Lusitania. So it feels like a weird retcon of history for me, but what do you think? If this was just a simple attack, sure, I could accept possibly that I'd never heard of it, but it gets stranger. The explosion was so big that it would have registered as a 5 to a 5.5 earthquake on the Richter scale. It was felt as far away as Philadelphia and Maryland. This explosion destroyed more than 100 rail cars, 13 warehouses, and left a 375-foot by 175-foot crater in the ground. The damage was estimated to be $20 million back then, which is now closer to $470 million when adjusted for inflation. Amazingly enough, only 5 people died, although thousands were injured. Now here is where New York comes into this Mandela effect. Every window in a 25-mile radius was completely shattered, including thousands in Lower Manhattan and Times Square. The Brooklyn Bridge was shaken, but the most troubling piece of information is that the Statue of Liberty was greatly damaged as a result of the Black Tom explosion. What? Is this the Twilight Zone? The Statue of Liberty's torch-holding arm was greatly damaged by shrapnel and actually resulted in it closing down to the public, supposedly. But we'll get to that in a minute. The damage to Lady Liberty's arm and skirt was estimated to be $100,000 back then, which today would be over $2.3 million. I grew up pre and post 9/11. After that attack, terrorism is all anyone could talk about. How is it that despite that, I never once heard about the Black Tom explosion? Especially considering that the attack on the World Trade Center in 2001 was touted as being the first major attack on domestic soil. Why was the Black Tom explosion not mentioned during the extensive coverage of attacks to the US? Not a single mention. Not a single reporter or news anchor back then brought up the Black Tom explosion. There wasn't a single, "Today we remember the explosion on Black Tom Island." Nothing. There's nothing about it in the news. Even on YouTube, there are only so many videos about this topic. I'd say less than 30, maybe more than 20. The oldest of those videos is only 7 years old. Even the comments on that video were people asking, "What is this? I've never heard of this before. I was never taught this. This never happened." It's a pretty interesting read. I could very easily go on and on about this particular Mandela effect because it fascinates me to no end. But I want to know what you think. Do you remember learning or hearing about this German attack on our country that led us to World War I? Is this a Mandela effect for you? As always, let's hear it in the comments below. Number 4. When you visit the Statue of Liberty, can you go up into the torch? What I learned when I was younger was that you were always able to go into the head of the Statue of Liberty and the torch. I heard that it was shut down for a while in the 1980s for refurbishment and repairs, but after that was finished, you could still visit the torch. Only after the attacks in 2001 were you not allowed up there anymore. Now, perhaps everything I was taught was wrong, and it's always been wrong, but that's what I've always known and have been taught. The truth as it is now is that not since 1916 could you go up into the torch. Does that sound strange to anyone? Now, to bring everything together, the reason you can't go inside of it is because of the structural damage caused by the Black Tom explosion. Another detail I find interesting is the belief that it was closed in the 1980s for simple refurbishment and repairs, to fix the years and years of wear and tear. That isn't actually what it was. It was once again to work on the damage caused by the explosion. Another one where I'm like, what? Again, why did no one ever talk about the Black Tom explosion if it's what caused those problems? What's interesting for this Mandela effect is that you can find residue all over the internet of people remembering how they visited the torch. They went there as a kid, they went there as an adult, they went there with their grandparents. Recounts of people's experiences can be found all over the internet if you want to look further into this. But for now, I'll leave it at that. So what do you think? Do any of these New York-themed Mandela effects get to you? As I've mentioned in previous videos, not every single Mandela effect is going to affect everyone, but the ones that usually do, they stick with you. It's a strange feeling when something that you know is true now isn't. Something that you've always believed now isn't. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and tell me if you know of any other new Mandela effects. The reason I ask for that is because the faster I find new ones, the sooner I can put out a new video for all of you to enjoy. Thank you all so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Subscribe for more videos just like this. Give me a big thumbs up, and if you enjoyed this, please check out my Patreon in the description below for exclusive videos and content. Until next time, everybody, later.